Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel Economics Classes. On this channel, I do teach economics. Today, I'll be teaching class 9, chapter 2, People as a Resource. Before starting the class, brief introduction about me. I'm Sunidhi Arya. I have done graduation in economics from Crowdymal College, Delhi University, and right now I'm pursuing masters in economics. So before diving deep into the class, let's have a brief of what all we are going to study in this class. In this class, we will study quality of a population. What are the quality of a population which makes them an asset to the country, not the liability? So before starting the class, I would like to tell you that I have already uploaded two videos regarding this chapter. If you want a better clarity, I would request you to watch those videos first and then come back to this video later so that you can understand this chapter in totality. Let's have a quick revision what all we have studied. In the last videos, I have told you the concept of human resources, how we can convert our growing population into the human resources, and then I have taught you about the economic activities. What are the economic activities? What are the sectors? Primary sector, secondary sector, and tertiary sector. And then I have discussed market activities and non-market activities. This is just a revision. If you want to have a detailed knowledge and if you have doubt in these topics, please refer to the earlier videos. Now let's start the class. From the first class of this chapter, I am telling you that growing population can be both. It can be as an asset to the economy as well as it can be the liability to the economy. Asset means when our population is giving us the positive return. So to convert our population into asset, we need three qualities. First, we need education, which we measure with the help of the literacy rate. Then health, population should be healthy, which we measure with the help of the life expectancies. And then skill formation. Since this video is completely dedicated only to the first factor, that is education, I would like to discuss education in detail. As I have told you earlier that we measure education with the help of the literacy rate, right? Who are the literate people? According to the government of India, any person who is more than 7 years of age, he or she can read and write with understanding in one language. Anyone who has completed 7 years of age and that person has the capability to read and write in one particular language, and that language doesn't necessarily to be the scheduled language, not necessarily the English language, any language. If that person can read and write, that person is a literate person. According to the census 2011, first we need to understand what is census. Census is a decadal exercise. In every 10 years, government counts the population of the country. It measures different status. What is the sex ratio? What is literacy rate? What is employment structure? So every 10 years we do count it. It is known as the census. Last census we had in 2011 and the next census we will have in 2021. So according to census 2011, Kerala is the highest literate rate and Bihar has the lowest literacy rate in the country. Now, we need to understand the difference between literacy and education. Suppose a person, let's say Mr. A. This is a person. Okay. This is Mr. A. He is 25 years of age, right? Now he has the capability to read and write. Read the newspaper in the local language. He can write in Hindi. But no, for the job, you need to have some set of education. You need to have certain kind of skill set. राइट आप केवल जॉब पे जाके ऐसे बैठ के पढ़ लिख नहीं सकते हैं ना. यू नीड टू बी प्रोडक्टिव. एंड इन पार्ट 1 ऑफ द वीडियो I have discussed with you the story of Sakal, and we see it gives her the more aspiration and developed life. Now we need to see what are the benefits of the education. First benefit, which I have discussed earlier also, that it leads to the growth of society. And how it does lead to the growth of society, as I have discussed already, that in the story of Sakal, Sakal was able to earn better. Okay? This was the scenario of one family. Now, in the second family, let's assume there are two sons and one daughter. Both of them are well educated and they are earning good amount of money. Then there is third family. Family is the unit of society. Entire family makes up the society. Since one family is growing by the education, entire society is bound to grow. So by the education, society will grow. And this is the structure now. Family plus family makes up to the society. This will make up to the society, and different society will make up to the country. What is country? Country is a different societies, different religion, diversity. Someone is Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Parsi. Society is a difference. Since family is growing, society is growing. By the combination of these, country is also supposed to grow. And this is also said by the economist Adam Smith, known to be the father of economics. And he says that if every person of a society focus on his welfare and doesn't care about the other welfare, then there will be automatically welfare in the entire society. हमें एक separately जाके society का welfare करने की जरूरत नहीं है, अगर हर कोई अपने welfare के बारे में सोच रहा है. So these are the two benefits. Firstly, growth of society. Second, growth of national income. Third, it will enhance the cultural richness. How it will enhance the cultural richness? Suppose this is a person who belongs to the South India. He is not educated. He doesn't have the capabilities to read and write. So he won't be able to communicate his culture to the person who is living in the North India. Let's say this different person is, since there is no education, no source of communication, they won't be able to share their culture. But when they do have knowledge, they do have common source of communication, they do can discuss about their culture. So that culture will get varied. Culture will get into. What is the culture? Some input from this society, some input from this society. For example, Delhi. Delhi doesn't have its own culture. Why it does not have culture? Because Delhi is the union territory which has people from all over the country. But Delhi का कोई एक unique culture नहीं है. That is why it will reach to the cultural richness. And most important thing, it will increase the efficiency of governance. How it will increase the efficiency of the governance? What do we mean by the governance? To deliver the well-being of the people by the government is known as the governance. Government is employing different ways, different schemes to uplift the welfare of the society. Now, can you expect that an uneducated person do have the knowledge of all the schemes going on? And the best example is Ayushman Bharat. We can expect that a person who has certain kind of literacy and education is aware about the Ayushman scheme. But can you expect a rag picker, कबाड़ा बीनने वाला जो इंसान होता है, can you expect कि उससे इस scheme की knowledge होगी और he can seek the benefit of this scheme? No, we cannot expect that. Why? Because he doesn't have education. उसको पता ही नहीं है what is happening in the country. That is the fourth benefit. Now we need to understand another thing, and that is I would like to cover a different topic right here. Although in your textbook it is covered a bit later, but I would like to cover it right now. People consider literacy as a right, like it is our right to get literate, but literacy is not just a right. Literacy is necessary to enjoy our duties and right properly. If I am not literate, I would not be available that what fundamental rights I have been granted by the Constitution of India. I do have studied the Constitution of India. That is why I know there is a concept of fundamental rights. But agar education hi na ho, then how can I enjoy my rights? So to enjoy the duties and rights, we need to be literacy, and moreover, we need to be educated. Since now we have seen that education is extremely important for the human resources, and we have seen the difference between literacy and education, and how education is more beneficial than, we have seen that how education is going to be more beneficial rather than being literate. We have seen benefits of education. अब हमें समझ में आ गया है कि हाँ education जरूरी है, but now the bigger question is how to get the education. Someone is poor, someone doesn't have access to a school, someone doesn't have the money. Mostly parents in India, they don't have money to send their children to school, especially when it comes to girls. The main reason is dowry. First, parents thinks that first they have to spend on the education, After she is educated, they will have to find a suitable groom, and more educated groom means more dowry. Parents refrain from sending their girl child to the school. Since parents are not capable of doing that, our society is not capable of doing that, we are unable to get the universal access. What is universal access? That I will explain in a bit. But we need to understand that government has taken the different measures, and now we will study what government has taken the measures. Okay, government measures. Among these, the first one is universal access. What do we mean by the universal access? First, access means we can get, you can satisfy your hunger. In this case, what is happening, that you are having access to the food. In the same way, when a person has the capability to send their children to the school, then their children will have the access to the school. What do we mean by the universal? What is universe? Which is present everywhere. That is universe, na? Which is present everywhere. Space. अपने ऊपर देखोगे तो आपको space space blue blue ही दिखेगा. So there is no limit to that. Wherever you go, you will find the space and universe. Universal access means each and every child of this country should have the access to school. Minimum basic schooling should be done by every children of the country. First priority is this. Second is retention and quality. Retention and quality in elementary schools. When we talk about such measures, this is specifically important for the girls. Government is very serious about the girl education. ठीक है, हमने पेरेंट्स को जाके बोला कि हम आपके बच्चों को फ्री पढ़ाएंगे, आप अपने बच्चों को स्कूल में भेजिए. यहाँ तक आता है यूनिवर्सल एक्सेस. नाउ what is retention? Parents send their children to the school. They send to the LKG, UKG first. Let's say child reach up to the second class. But then parents decides that we don't want to continue the education. We don't want to teach our child further. So that is dropout. Government next target is to minimize the dropout and maximize the retention. Once the child enters into the school, he should leave the school once he has got the complete elementary education. He shouldn't leave in between because there is no point. Apart from that, quality should be there. And when we talk about quality, it is in the terms of the capabilities of a teacher as well as the curriculum. The curriculum we are teaching is very outdated, then this is not going to help. Every day we see on the social media that teachers are being viral because they are teaching very ridiculously. Okay, so that is why government wants to increase quality of teachers. They want to attract the best brain of the country. They want to attract more and more youth of the country to this field. Okay, and these are the targets which government is looking to achieve, right? Apart from this, we need to say ki what government is all doing to achieve these targets. Firstly, government has opened the Navodaya Vidyalaya. There is a provision to set up Navodaya Vidyalaya in each and every district. Navodaya Vidyalaya are the Vidyalayas or the schools which are being run by the central government with the hostel facilities. That means once child has cleared the entrance and he has secured the admission in Navodaya school, parents does not have to spend even a single penny on the child education thereafter. No expenditure at all, nothing. You just don't need to spend anything. Apart from that, government is again focusing on the vocational stream. I have already told you what is vocation when I discussed with you the story of Sakal, who took the diploma and the vocational course in the computer. So government is planning to introduce more and more vocational streams after the 10th, so that skill set could be developed and people can get the job easily. Two very important schemes we need to discuss when we talk about the government initiative. The first one is Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan. Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan. Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan primarily focus on the access to the education. Like a child should have the access to the school. Enrollment, more and more children, more and more children should come into the school for the education purpose. Apart from that, Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan. What is Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan? We need to understand. It is elementary education to all children between the age group of 6 to 14 years. 6 to 14 years. And most important thing is it is a time bound initiative. What do we mean by the time bound initiative? Time bound initiative means we have set the deadline. There is a particular deadline, no matter what, till that time we will have to achieve this target. When we set the timeline, it is the time bound initiative. It is a time bound initiative, and there are three main stakeholders: central government, state government, and local government. Time bound initiative being started by all the three governments so that all the benefits can penetrate into the rural strata. जनरली क्या होता है, कोई भी स्कीम शुरू होती है तो केवल टॉप लेवल पे होकर रह जाती है, लेकिन जब हम सारी कम्युनिटी को, सारी गवर्नमेंट को साथ में लेके चल रहे हैं, तो हमारा मेन पर्पज यही होता है कि बिल्कुल डीप से डीप, बिल्कुल फॉरेस्ट ऑफ द फॉरेस्ट एरिया में ये पहुंचे. Okay, as I've told you, this is the access to education. So next point is universalization, which I have explained already. I'm not going to discuss this thing here now. Apart from that, it is offering bridge courses and back to school. First, we will understand back to school, and then we will understand the bridge courses. Back to school means girls who are out of the school due to XYZ reason. Reason might be anything. The government is targeting, send them back to the school. That is why the back to school. Bridge courses, these are the courses which are being done after the 10th class, but we can do them at a higher level also if we want to get the degree in this. I will explain it through an example. There is a course which is known as the technical course, which we can pursue after the 10th, that is polytechnic, right? So if a person wants to pursue a job, he doesn't want to study anymore, and his family allowing him to study, and he have compulsion that he has to do the job, otherwise he won't be able to eat anything. Okay, so he get the job after polytechnic, but suppose due to some circumstances some person has taken the admission into the polytechnic, but their family condition is good and they want to study further, so they can get direct admission in BTech second year. So in this way, polytechnic is the bridge course between 10th and बीटेक. जो हमारा एक साल वेस्ट हो रहा था, जो क्योंकि पॉलिटेक्निक आई थिंक सो 3 साल की होती है, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट हमें सीधा बीटेक सेकेंड ईयर में एडमिशन मिल रहा है. तो दिस इज द ब्रिज कोर्स विच इज ब्रिजिंग, विच इज मेकिंग ए पुल ब्रिज, जिसके ऊपर से गाड़ियां जाती हैं. सो विच इज मेकिंग ए ब्रिज बिटवीन द 10th एंड द हायर डिग्री लेवल. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट, as I have told you earlier, that Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan focuses on the access. Now we need to see the scheme which focuses on the retention. So that is midday meal scheme, very popular. Once in a week you must have seen this scheme in the newspaper due to some faulty reasons, which is not good in the country. Midday meal was introduced because of two reasons. Because the poor parents were unable to send their children for the two reasons. First, they didn't have income to send them to school. Second reason was that the children was supposed to be the income generator. If they are sending their child to the school, income is being compromised ना. पहले बच्चा कमा रहा था, अब वो कमा नहीं रहा है, अब वो जाके स्कूल में पढ़ रहा है, तो कुछ तो फैमिली का इनकम कम होगा. तो जो फैमिली का इनकम कम होता है, उसको कॉम्पेंसेट करने के लिए मिड डे मील रखा गया. गवर्नमेंट ने बोला that you send the child to the school, we will feed him. You don't have to worry about his food and nutrition. We will feed him. That is why more and more people started coming into the school. Enrollment बढ़ा, and there was drop in the dropout ratio. More children started taking the education up to the 8th class or the 10th class because of this scheme. So retention got increased. In the 11th, 5th year plan, government lost a very ambitious target to achieve the universalization of education, and that was that we have to increase the enrollment ratio. यानी कि the children who are coming to the school, we need to increase that, and they focus with the strategy. I have discussed all these strategy is in detail in earlier classes. Right here, I'll be just discussing that what all strategy government has been implementing. First one is increasing access, yani ki every children should be able to go to the school and take the education. Quality, as I've told you earlier, there should be quality of the teachers, which is really need to be good for the better education. Then adoption of state specific curriculum, this is different, this needs some clarification. State specific curriculum, what do we mean by that? Every state has different history, different geography, different polity system, okay, different economy as well. Some are very developed states, some are in the first stage of the development. So if I am living in the Uttar Pradesh, so I would relate more with the Uttar Pradesh or the south. Common answer would be I would be more relatable with the Uttar Pradesh, because I am living here since birth. We just understand something by not reading it in the textbook. We should design the curriculum according to the states. If children who is residing in UP should study according to UP, should read more about UP. इससे क्या होता है, एक तो relatability बढ़ती है, and when there is more relatability, there is automatically more interest generated in the subject. So this can lead to the very good amount of enrollment as well as retention. Apart from that, I have already discussed you so many times vocationalization, vocational करना है. Networking and use of IT. What do we mean by when we say use of ITC in higher education? You know, there are lots of channel which is being launched by the central government, or I think there is now a satellite which is completely dedicated to the educational purpose. There are some people in the country who wants to study but they do not have time, and they cannot go to the school, because in the school time they have to work. They cannot go to the school, colleges, and they cannot study because of some other constraint. So for them it is very important that we do some sort of we include some IT tools, like we can create the YouTube channel, we can create the channel which provides educational content, जैसे कि Swam. If you see this, you will find lot of content. There is a IGNU channel which gives you all the education at free. Apart from that, we need to focus on convergence of formal, non-formal. As we are approaching, there should be convergence of formal, non-formal. What do we mean by the convergence? See, this is formal, this is non-formal, informal. यानी कि यहाँ पे पूरा formal system है, 3 साल आपको regular जाना है, attendance मिलेगी. यहाँ पे non formal है कि आपको daily जाने की जरूरत नहीं है. You don't need to attend daily lectures. For example, IGNU, you just sit at the home, study from the curriculum and the syllabus, and give the assignments and exam. So there should be convergence, like this should go and shift towards it, and this should shift this. जब दोनों आके मिलेंगे, convergence and non convergence, it will create an ambience and infrastructure which is suitable to both, and that is the necessity of today's country, 21st century. Because if we want to get developed, we need education, and everybody cannot have the access to education due to certain factors. There are lots of other factors which we can discuss, but that is not your context right now. This is it for this video. In the next video, I'll be discussing the next quality of education, that is health, which is extremely important. I hope this whole chapter must be clear to you, but if you still have any doubt, please let me know in the comment section. And apart from that, don't forget to like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure after subscribing you hit the notification bell on, so that whenever I upload the next part to this chapter, you get an instant notification to that. Thank you so much.